What's going on, world? It's your man, Mr. Mac, here with AllHipHop.com. I'd like to welcome you to the mechanism. Welcoming a first-time brother to this couch. He is accomplished. He is revered. He is spoken about in awe in certain circles. If you know who he is, then you already know who he is, and I ain't got to tell you nothing. But since you don't know, I'm going to have him tell you. Brother, state your name one time for the camera.
I am Salaam Remi.
Bruh, first things first. Your people have been blowing me up about the Do It For The Culture platform that you guys started. Before we get into any kind of music and any kind of debate stuff and anything else, I just want to focus on that real quick. Please tell me what this is that's got everybody so excited.
For me, it was a situation where, I've been producing successfully a lot of, whatever artists, whether it was Alicia Keys or Jasmine Sullivan, Miguel. I've had a 30-year career at this point where I did, loads of hip-hop, R&B, to pop or whatever it was. And I looked at what was going on musically, and I just felt like, you know what, there are a lot of people who have the ability to do more musical stuff, like a lot of the music that I actually would do have orchestras on it or live instruments or a lot of full stuff. But the reality is that, Gucci Mane just came home. And
Right.
he probably dropped 3 albums already, or, you have a lot of other things happening in music. And even Drake put out, a lot of music in the last 5 years, but he just had the album. Now he just dropped 4 new songs. So
Right.
I just looked at it and said, you know what? I can't sit down and say, well, this should be happening in music and that should be happening for music unless I'm able to contribute on my own. So I decided that I was going to put up 50 songs on my Do It For The Culture platform that's across 5 different projects, and then continue to do that every few months to keep putting out 50 songs for my contribution. I can't sit down and talk about anyone else's contribution and what may or may be missing for it if I'm not willing to pony up myself and put it out there and make sure that it's available for streaming, whether that's SoundCloud, which is available, but at the same time on any other platforms and for sale if people choose to buy. But I'm actually putting things forward the same way everyone else does with every other genre of music right now, from Caribbean music, which I work in a lot, to hip hop, to everything else. It's all there, and at the end of the day, the people tell you what they like. It's not like you're waiting for gatekeepers. We have the internet right now that's more powerful than many things that, whether it was a joke or someone falling down the stairs or a reality show, that happens all the time. So you know what? I'm doing it for the culture. This is stuff that I couldn't sit down and wait for a label to pay me. And if I did, it's millions of dollars worth of music as far as what I'm contributing for what I'm actually worth, on the market. So right now I'm putting it forward and saying, you know what, there are other people that need a shot. There's other opportunities that can come up, and all the music that I'm putting forward, like I said, it's not something that I just did on my laptop and threw it together on the phone real quick. Not that there's anything wrong with music that I do that way as well, but this is all orchestras, live instrumentation, just other things that I personally feel, and not even things that I'm picking up as a label, like I'm buying this song, we're putting it out. This is me personally saying I'm outputting what I feel like, for me personally. So that's where it comes from, and that's where it's headed.
So MCs, singers can come through, hear the music, pick and
Well,
choose
before we
beats.
even get to that set of it, what I started with was that I had some stuff that I actually felt like in the Latin hip hop space that was missing. I kind of create first for what I feel like I want to hear personally, and then I feel like my peers would want to hear it. And I'm a New Yorker, so at the end of the day, New York is always a melting pot. So when I first was sitting down thinking about some Latin hip hop type of stuff, then I ended up saying, oh, you know what, it'd be dope to kind of put together a song or two like that. So I hit up Joel, then I hit up Nitty Scott and Bodega Bams, and I was talking about throwing a party that I would call No Ponte Thursdays. So then that's what we ended up, I got them down in Miami. So, 4 days, let's see what we come up with. We knocked out the whole West Side Highway project, West Side Highway Story project in 4 days. So I was like, you know what? If people like it, let me just throw it on SoundCloud. Let's see what everybody feels about it. People liked it, so I took the time, spent the money, cleared the samples, and made it available the same way. And it was also giving them a shot to have, somebody like myself work with them and help develop them, because I feel like they all have potential, but it was there. And then I have a project called the Champagne Flutes, myself and Terry Walker from London. She was a singer and has been doing stuff for years, but I had a bossa nova idea. She has an incredible golden voice. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to sit down and work on some different orchestras in Prague, the way I'd done with Nas's Queen Story or Jasmine Sullivan's Bust Your Windows. So it's from that time I was actually working on stuff, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to make it available the same way. Sex All Summer is me and Young Jizzle from Baltimore. We sat down and worked on some music. We're in a Marvin Gaye vibe. We're playing instruments in my crib. So I just felt like it was me putting forward doing that. And then also Mira May, who is a young singer that's Algerian born from North London, from Tottenham. and I'd actually been working with her for the last year or so. So I just said, this is all the stuff I'm gonna put out. And then while I was at it, I pulled up a song I had from Mac Wiles that I put Nitty Scott on called Camouflage. BJ the Chicago Kid, I written some songs with him earlier in the year, so we actually put out a song Cheating on Us, and Al Vaughn, I had a song called Friend Zone. And I was just like stuff that, you know what, I can't wait for someone at a corporate setting to say this is allowed to be out. Like, nah, I'm gonna do this because I feel like it's out. And also Miguel's Come Through and Chill, which is where it's kind of started for me also this summer. Whereas then we were writing stuff for his next album that's gonna come out next year. But I was like, you know what, why don't we just make something right now and just put it up? What are we vibing right now? So Miguel got on the guitar, I got on the drums, we vibed, I played a little bass on it. And I was like, talk about what you thinking right now. You know, come through and chill. He's in Miami. We was having a laugh. And within a couple of days after I was recording it, I just took it and put it right out. And that SoundCloud aspect of that going to people and whoever's inspired by it or feels good, then I'm adding into it. Not that every piece of music that's going to go great is going to come from me. I'm hoping to inspire and open up something. And now going forward, I'm looking for new talent. Always looking for new talent because I've never had outside of Nas, everybody that I pretty much work with, it was from their first, I'm 18, I'm getting my first set of hits, whether it was Fugees or Amy or Jasmine or even Miguel. It was their first songs that I came through with. So I'm always looking for who's next, who's got something else in it, and just keeping that spinning because that's why I've been able to be here for so long. I'm not talking about what I did in 86 or 96 or 2006. I'm here in 2016 getting busy.
So all of this inspired the platform that we have now. Do it for the culture
to say, look, this is where I'm coming forward with it. This is where I'm headed. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm excited about who I don't know yet, what's coming up. You know, I recently signed to my Sony label deal, an artist that was hit me on Facebook for 2 years. An artist named Starley. Now we're doing a couple million a day on Spotify right now with a record called Calling Me. That's Australian artist that, you know, had a acoustic type trappish song. I got a dance mix, and now, you know, she's on her way to being a millionaire, you know, going through more than a millionaire. She's on her way to world stardom for her art with a song. So she's been hitting me on for Facebook for like 2 years. And then, you know, she didn't know I was listening to it because I'm actually that focused. And then I just hit her back one day like, yo, what you doing with this? She's like, well, wait a minute. You're listening to it? She couldn't tell. But the fact is, like I said, I'm looking for that. You know, there has to be artist development. There has to be true artists that can do this. And sometimes a lot of people just need some guidance. There's a lot of, you know, I refer to like SoundCloud generation, you know, South by Southwest. It just feels like there's a lot of little people doing a lot of little things. But where's that somebody that's like, yo, you got it. All you got to do is move this to the left, and then look, boom, you're crystallizing what it is. And I feel like that's what I've been able to help, you know, Amy Winehouse or the Fugees or Miguel or whoever do. Just help them get to the point where they're able to write that song that really makes a difference. And I might not write it. It might be me just inspiring somebody, or also just inspiring my peers as well, you know, because we can sit down and say, yo, I got this music, but you're sitting down waiting on such and such A&R to call you back on said date to do this. Come on, man.
What's the hold up most of the times? You've been in the business long enough. What
Right.
keeps a good song from coming out? What keeps a good album from leaving the shelf? What is that?
It's usually, it's a financial responsibility. Ultimately, you know, we make music, which is great. And even if I said I'm giving a label the music, you can have it for free. A lot of times what happens is, you know, black radio is the most expensive radio that you can actually get at. Pop radio is another game, but black radio actually costs for you to move from spot to spot, to move around and do stuff. So you actually have to keep a certain amount of cash on hand. And then also, when most of the people who are doing it, you know, most of our CEOs right now are 50-plus British guys who love music, a lot of times certain soulful music. But if we look at it, they're chasing what happened already. You know what I'm saying? And for me, conceptually, I always look at it like, you know, they're not going to know what we're doing. You know, I have a thing, Who Made the Tater Salad, where I'm basically like, yo, if you don't know who made the tater salad, then you know what I'm talking about. And they don't know what we're talking about. But that's for us. You know, I don't expect a 55-year-old Caucasian dude to know what Tamika and I'm 15 years old and the hood's supposed to like right now. There's a conversation they're having that you're not supposed to know about. That's how life is, because right now you're a grandfather to them. So at the end of the day, right now, that music just has to happen. And then as that music happens, then they're going to chase it. So I'm just like, you know what, let's get up here and organize this. There was, you know, the B-Boys, then there was Cool Herc. You know what I'm saying? There was, you know, everybody else that organized what was happening. So, you know, was Melly Mel and them like 14, 15 when they started, you know, hip-hop, hip-it the hop, you know, like where they come from. They were teenagers. But at the end of the day, you know, between 14 and 21, there's a lot of people that could do it. There's a lot of artists that just got talent, period. At the end of the day, I'm just all about, look, let's turn this over. Let me reinvest into the music, which is a culture that I love and that I live with. And if I never had another huge record. I just got to do what I feel like is right, which is support artists who can really do it. And then you got to do the work. Don't get it wrong. You know what I'm saying? I still, I'm up at 5 a.m. every day looking around. And somebody hit me online the other day like, I'm tweeting this to Salaam Remi now because I heard he's up at 5 a.m. listening. I listen to it too. Almost there. You gotta need a few more songs. You ain't there yet. You get headed there. But I'm paying attention because, like I said, I'm looking for that next talent. That's what's gonna keep me going.
And what are you looking to do with the people that you discover? What comes next? There's a lot of mystique behind the intricacies of the business.
Right.
From why a project doesn't come out to exactly what role an executive producer may play to exactly what role the A&R plays. Like if the producer's coming up with the music, then who needs A&R? What's the A&R doing? So there's a lot of mystique. And to debunk some of that, you're right here, 30 years in, you've seen it all, done it all. What would be your next step once you discovered this artist? Because we hear the cliches.
Right.
You got to put in work. You got to grind. But people don't really know what that means. So for you, what is that?
For me, it's overall guidance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that I can't even say exactly what it is. I would look at it case by case, depending on what somebody needs. Some people actually do need a producer, but they don't have it together. Some people, the production's there. You might need better mixing them. You know what I'm saying? Sonic, mixing and mastering is just turned into a joke phrase. But, mixing and mastering, you mix and master, like they just say that because they heard about it on the internet somewhere. But at the end of the day, that might be the case. Sometimes you have the record, and many records I've made have been great. They just didn't necessarily get the marketing. Maybe there was nowhere to put it. The reality is that, we lost our clubs in New York as far as it's concerned, where the club music had happened. And there was a place where, a sound happens for a city in the clubs with the people actually congregating, not necessarily, through the radio. And the internet is